I said, skirt all niggas, skirt up all niggas, skirt down, you acting like me, acting like we wasn't more than I said.
Hello, guys. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another video. First of all, I want to say this is the second time I'm recording this video. I inadvertently deleted it, so I do apologize that it's taken me so long to get this update. There's a lot of information here to unpack, so I pray that I can do it as good as I did the first time and make sure that everything is available. So let's get started. Number one. The first thing that I wanted to mention in this video is a retraction from my last one. The last video's thumbnail said arrest reported. And I did it like that for a reason. I did it like that because, number one, there was an arrest reported by ABC News Channel 7 out of Los Angeles. But I think that maybe the young lady misspoke because no one has been arrested for this case. Now, there has been an arrest warrant issued from Mexico, but no one has been arrested. In order for the arrest to take place, I now know, first of all, the red notice has to be issued, which means that the State Department has done its work, and then Interpol has done its work, and then them working with the FBI will then do their work. Apparently, there's already been location done, but as of now, there has been no warrant served on anyone, and no one has been apprehended for this case. Now, let's first of all, I want to give credit to the lead attorney and Chronicle Speaks. They are two of the many sources that I frequent when looking for inside information, because they both have one-on-one contact with the investigative reporter that is actually covering this out of California, Baja Sur. Now, one thing about it is Mexico is not the US, so things are done a lot different over there. And even with things being done different over there, there's a lot of information that he can get that we cannot get. And therefore, by them having this inside track, and not to mention Chronicle being from North Carolina, there's just a lot more information that they have available. Now, one thing I do want to mention is about the videos. There is an additional video, but there's not a video with Winter doing some kind of live where she's speaking on audio. That is not a factual video. That is not her. Number two, it is said that there was a video of Winter causing harm to this young lady, therefore causing her to transition. As far as we know, that is not a factual video either. As far as this case is concerned, in any case for that matter, if we don't have the actual proof, there's little to nothing that we can do about it. Another thing is the fact that the more bad information is out there, the more murky the situation becomes, and then it can possibly affect the outcome of the case. So it's very important that we do our best to make sure that the information that we have is accurate. And that is why, number one, I came to do my retraction. Number two, when I posted that, I did post it the way that I did because although I saw it on a news source on Thanksgiving afternoon, the fact of the matter still remained that I didn't see it being picked up by many other people. I did see it being picked up by a few people, but not everybody. And being that was the case, it was a cause for concern for me. That is why I continue to look into the matter, although I did feel that that was a credible enough source that I could use it. However, it still was important to me to try to ensure that I had the information as best as possible. Now, let's get back into this case. There are several things that I wanted to touch on. One being the question of Deajahne's sexuality. It was said in the paperwork issued by the prosecuting attorney in Mexico that the individual or one said individual involved in this case was transgender, and they referred to Deajahne. The reason that it is thought that she was transgender is because the maid who was handling the cleaning of their particular Airbnb saw that she, number one, had a headscarf on, and that number two, she was wearing a full wig. Now, because that is something that is a part of our culture and not a part of their culture, it wasn't something that this particular individual was familiar with. And because of that, also it not being any type of holiday, she just assumed that that must mean that this person, not to mention she has a somewhat androgynous face, and they said she's a very tall girl. So, with all of that being considered, the young lady who was cleaning the Airbnb thought that she was a man. So this is why that information was put out there. But obviously she is not. As a matter of fact, it was said that she just recently had a child. So she's definitely not transgender. Now, the lead attorney did an interview with the police, not police, but the investigator who's covering this in California. And we were able to gather a lot of information from this particular video. Now, I already told you guys that their legal system is a lot different than ours. In California, I mean, sorry, in Mexico, anytime you are charged with a crime, the burden of proof is not on the prosecuting attorney the way it is here in the US. Actually, the burden of proof is actually on the individual who was actually accused of the offense. It is up to you to prove that you are innocent and to save yourself from sure incarceration. That is definitely your fault and your situation, not theirs. Now, when the individual whom is requested on the arrest warrant is taken into custody and then delivered back to Mexico, what will happen for them is they will have an initial court hearing called the first hearing. At the first hearing is when the information is read to them as far as the offenses and all of the evidence made available to them on behalf of this case and what they used to make the determination for the case. And once that hearing is done, they will then have a subsequent hearing, which is their second hearing, which is where they make their declaration. When you make your declaration is when you say, okay, I hear everything that you have against me, but it was not me, and these are the reasons why. This is how I would prove that it wasn't me. If you have any conspirators, you mention them at the time. You tell what their offenses were. You tell if it was premeditated or if it was something that just happened, and on from there. Now, another thing that can happen at that time is that's additional charges can be made available against her and against the others. It was mentioned something about theft of money from her. So at any time, if they get additional proof of that, that too will be added to the charges available from them. Not only that, the case that they're actually being charged with is femicide, and that is, uh, basically fatal harm to a female because she is female. The reason that they chose this as opposed to another similar case is because of the fact that not only was she female, but she was undressed. She was recorded as she was attacked. She did not fight back. It has nothing to do with the individual who aggressed against the individual, but it has to do strictly with the person who was harmed. So because she was female, because she was attacked the way that she was and when she was and how she was is why they chose femicide. So this is what is being charged. Now, the second video, I did mention to you guys that there is a second video. It is not the video that everyone keeps talking about with Winter Donovan on it. It's actually a video of some female that was in the villa who came into the room while the attack was going on. They actually was coming to the rescue of Shanquella, and they actually was fussing with the young lady who was aggressing against her. So this is what's being showed in the second video. The second video, and we know about this video because the news reporter's source gave him this information. Okay. So there is no video, as far as we know, with Winter on it causing any harm, nor is there any video. The video that's alleged that's Winter talking is said not to be true. Another thing is, um, Winter is the person who actually called 911. Winter is the person who actually made all the actions to try to get her help. Now, Winter, in accordance to what we saw, is also the young lady who was recording the offenses and the fight that we all saw as the viral video. So Winter had a lot going on here, but it is definitely said that she did call, and she also was the person who told the doctor, once the doctor got on scene, no, treat her here, don't take her anywhere. Now, another thing, like I said, a doctor did come into play here. The doctor came to check her out. But the interesting thing about that is it said that within 15 minutes of her injury, she actually transitioned. So with that being the case, how could she have still been uh, viable at 5 p.m.? The doctor was called around 2:30 and arrived around 3:30 to the villa to give her care. Now, the villa is said to be a very nice place. They have a very impeccable reputation, and it's also said that a cover up might be possible so that they can maintain their reputation. They wouldn't want a thing like this happening on their property. So there is an investigation being done on the behalf of that. And I guess once we get more information about that, we'll definitely make that available. Another thing was there's some other information that was put out about theft. The villa, once the young lady was taken to the hospital and all the friends decided to leave early, they were given permission to leave. They actually got a refund back for the funds paid for the villa, and therefore that money they also kept, and it was not given to the mother. They did take Shanquella's suitcase home, and they gave it to her mom, but those funds were not in the suitcase. Another thing that I wanted to mention here was the fact that it was said that they used her credit card as well to book the actual flights to get them back home. Now, people keep talking about the money that was paid to get her home. Her father actually wired that money, and he said it on a live video that he did with the North Carolina Beat. Now, let me speak about them real quick. North Carolina Beat. Um, I'm a frequent flyer over on a YouTube channel called Nosy Bystander, and I like her investigative style that she does. But I've noticed lately that she sometimes, in every case that she covers, there's a piece of the case that she gets very attached to. And when she does that, sometimes she's a little critical of people who don't agree with her. Now, she says that everybody's opinion is welcome, and I do believe that she means well when she says that. But the fact of the matter is, there's been more than one occasion. For example, with this case here, the Nazir guy, everybody is calling these kids the Cabo Six. She calls them the Cabo Five, and that's because she feels that Nazir is totally has nothing to do with this. Oh, he wasn't there. He said he wasn't there. If you guys think he was, you're crazy. You're gonna get sued. Blah blah blah, and all this. Now I understand where she's coming from. He apparently was not there when whatever fight or whatever happened. Okay, we can all agree on that. But another thing that we can agree on is the fact that when he did make himself available, he did not provide the proper care. He admitted when he got there that she was not responsive. Why? Even if she was drunk, if she's not responsive, you get her an ambulance, you get her help. He just sat there. He claimed he sat there and rubbed her head. You sat there and rubbed her head. Now, in all intents and purposes, what we have been told is that she had already transitioned because the incident that aggressed against her had already happened. And according to the autopsy, she had um, expired within 15 minutes of that. So she definitely would not have been available in any shape, form, or fashion by the time he got on scene, which was around the time that the nurse got there, a little bit before. And so he should have noticed that there was something seriously wrong with her. So being that he got on scene, that he did call her mom. He told her mom what was going on. He told her mom what they said, but I'm quite sure as soon as he hit customs, he was told what was going on. He went there and whatever else was said, he went along with it. Another thing that he did when he got home that Tuesday or Wednesday, excuse me, he went to the mother's house and took Deajahne and Winter with him. He stood there while they lied. He knew at some point that something had happened to this young lady. He knew it because he saw her. He knew it because the nurse said there was a knot on her head. He also knew it because she had petechiae in her eyes. And he also knew it because she had a uh, injury to her lip. There's a lot of information there. And if he didn't know that something was happening, it's simply because he chose not to see it. There was more than enough information. And with all of that being said, he still presented to the family in a dishonest manner. He used the credit card to get right back home. He did not stay there with her to ensure that she was properly cared for. He took her stuff home. He knew about the money and said nothing. There is enough complicity in him that he should be charged as well. Now, should he get the same charges? No. Should he get the same punishment? No, but he definitely should get punished for his part in what happened. And it's as simple as that. It really is. So, we went over the fact of why they thought she was transgender. We discussed the fact of the wrong information. We also discussed the fact of the red notice. The red notice will be issued sometime this week in accordance with the reporter. Once the red notice is issued and Interpol does their part, that's when whomever can be picked up. And at that point, we'll not only know who it is, we'll know where they are and all the details that we need from her. Also, the other video at that time may be made available as well. So we discussed that. We discussed Winter. Winter was the person who called the police. Now, I don't know who was actually refunded the money, but somebody was refunded the money. The family wasn't given any of that. Not to mention, it was said that she declared $10,000 coming into Mexico on her paperwork. So if that is the case, that is also money in question. It's also being investigated that the police's report was not factual and that some of the information that the doctor who was on scene made wasn't factual. Another thing that the investigator said is that anytime in Mexico that an offense happens of any type and you are on the scene, you are taken into custody, period. From that point, they figure out what happened and what's going on. And then at that point, you may not go to prison, but you are definitely taken into custody. The fact that they were not taken into custody is cause for concern there. And that's why it seems and they are assuming that may have been some type of corruption that happened. So with that being the case, this is the information that we have as of today, Sunday evening, the 27th of November, 2022. I've also retracted the fact that someone has actually been picked up. That cannot be done until the red notice part has been done and the information has been given to all the proper channels through Interpol. And at that time, like I said, the person will be picked up. So if you have any other questions, now let me also say this, Miss Hyatt, I think her name is Amelia Hyatt. She was the young lady whose sister had been unalived by her ex-boyfriend the day that they actually left. It was also mentioned that she is the person who released that first fight video. And the reason that she did that is because she was afraid. She was with these people. She knew that, whatever happened, happened. And she wanted to ensure her safety. And she did that by putting the information out there. She probably also did it so that she would not be implicated in a negative way, which was smart. She probably was also the person who went into the room to try to fight for Shanquella. We're not sure, but we're assuming just based on her actions that that's who she was. So if that is the case, that is definitely a plus there. But I'm sure once the young lady, whomever it is, issued on the warrant is taken into custody, a lot more information will start to come out when it comes to this case. So anyway, that is what I have here. Hopefully I gave you all information. I know if you do, like I said, look at my other video, you will see what I'm talking about and what I had to retract and correct. If you guys have any questions, do not hesitate to ask below. If I do not know, I will definitely get the information for you. And as soon as I have more information, I definitely will make it available to you. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to check out this video and frequent my channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back. Please be sure to like, comment, and let me know how you feel about this situation. And also, what would you have done? Would you have stayed and ensured that your friend's passage back home was secured prior to leaving? Would you have used her money to get home? What would you have done? Would you have stayed until your ticket got you back home? Tell me what you guys would have done. Because me personally, I don't think I could have left my friend without knowing that I've spoken with her parents to make sure that they're going to be able to get her home okay, that her remains would be properly taken care of and respected, and that everything was good. I think I would have had to stay and make sure of that. Even though I wasn't able to enjoy my trip, I definitely would have had to do that. So thanks, guys, for everything. And again, I will see you in the comments. And like I said, if you're new here, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks in advance. And like I said, I will see you guys in the next video.
I said, skirt all niggas, skirt up all niggas, skirt down, you acting like me, acting like we wasn't more than. I said, skirt all niggas, skirt up all niggas, skirt down, you acting like me, acting like we wasn't more than. I